Today I want to show you 6 hacks for loom knitting, 6 techniques or little tips that are going to make your loom knitting easier. So let's get started. Alright, the first hack I want to show you is a yarn guide. When you're loom knitting, as you know, we take our yarn and we wrap it around the pegs. And you can just use your fingers to wrap. And I have found that using your fingers can lead to uneven tension, meaning sometimes you wrap it tight, sometimes it's a little looser. For me, I've gotten the most consistency with my tension around the loom when I use a yarn guide. Years ago, the Nifty Knitters, which is what this kind of loom is, they had sold these little yarn guides. The gist of them is you feed your yarn through the yarn guide, and then it is the yarn guide that wraps the yarn around the pegs, flowing freely and giving you a more consistent wrap. Okay, and see how much quicker that goes? Nifty Knitter no longer makes these, so you've got to come up with some other things to use instead. So I'm sure many of you have seen the Rubbermaid adult sippy cups, or what I call them. The little liquid container where you pop up the top and you've got a straw and the straw comes down to the bottom. So these straws are heavy, unlike just a regular drinking straw. A regular drinking straw, it's pretty flexible, and after a while they don't work so well. Rubbermaid, I know you can go onto Amazon and buy replacement straws for Rubbermaid. And then what I do is I cut them down to the size that I want, that's comfortable for my hand. And again, they work exactly the same way, where you feed your yarn through and you wrap the loom with that. So it works great. Now what happens if you're knitting on a smaller gauge loom and these straws do not fit through there? So that's awkward. That doesn't work so well. What I have found are coffee stirrer straws. Again, you can go to any grocery store or Walmart and you buy a pack of them for like $2. And again, I cut them down to the size I want. And you can see there are different diameters. There's the itty bitty baby ones, and then there's ones that are a little bit bigger. And same concept. I'm going to use a thinner yarn here. You just feed the yarn through it, and you can wrap away. So this, to me, is just a huge time saver. Whoops. Huge time saver, and it also saves your fingers. My fingers get tired holding that yarn. So there we go. Look at that, right through there. Easy peasy. All right, the next little thing I want to show you is how to make a threader for your yarn guide. Makes it a whole lot easier than trying to shove the yarn down through or feed it with a pencil or however people do it. I just went to the craft store, picked up some wire. You see I paid 99 cents for that wire. You peel off about a 12-inch strand of wire and fold it in half. And then I just took regular old duct tape, folded it in half, twisted the ends, and then put my duct tape on it. And so now you can just use that. You feed the wire through your thread, or through your yarn guide. You put your yarn through the thread guide, and then you just pull it right through. So it's a handy little thing to have in your kit, because you can get your yarn guide threaded super easy. Alright, another great thing to keep in your loom knit toolkit are some bobby pins. This is a cable needle. It's super duper handy for if you're knitting cables where you want to pick up a stitch from this peg and move it to that peg, or you're moving stitches around, or whatever reason you need to pull a stitch off and secure it somewhere. So you use a cable needle to do that, and it's secure, it's not going to unravel. What if you don't have a cable needle? These can get kind of pricey to go buy them. Every female on the planet has a bobby pin, I'm sure of it. So you just use a bobby pin. I kind of stretch mine out a little bit to open it up. And then just do the same thing. Pull your stitch out, slip it in the bobby pin. And voila, that stitch is secure and not going anywhere. So again, bobby pins as a cable needle. Alright, the next little trick that is so worthwhile for your Loom Knit Toolkit, run to the dollar store and buy yourself a package of pencil grips. Package of 10 for $1. These things are great for putting grips on your hooks. Give you a little bit more control, a little bit more comfort when knitting. And the other thing I use them for are stitch markers. You just take your little scissors and you cut, boom, and you've got yourself a perfect little stitch marker. So your little dollar pack of pencil grips can serve as stitch markers or grips on your hooks. The next tip I have for you is used whenever, well, you can use it anytime, but I use it when I'm knitting a wide garment where you go back and forth. You get interrupted, you can't remember, was I knitting this way or was I knitting in that direction? And if you don't pick up and go the same direction you were in, you've messed up. And what a pain in the butt that is. So Post-it notes are your friend. You can buy the little Post-it notes that are arrows. You can take a Post-it note pad like this, cut off a section, and draw yourself an arrow. But seriously, when you start knitting, put that down. This is the direction I'm going. You knit. When you come back and start the other way, flip your arrow around. It will save you from messing up and creating errors in your wide garments or wide fabrics that you're knitting. Another thing you can do, if you do, you're halfway through and you stop because whatever, I have seen people who will take a hair tie and put a hair tie on, making an arrow saying, okay, look, see, I'm knitting in this direction. So it'd be kind of like that. Or flip it around so that you know what direction you're going. But it's real important that you continue in the right direction. And if you're like me and can't remember, Post-it notes are a lifesaver. The last little hack I want to show you, if you're like me, I love my all-in-one looms. My problem is the ends of these screws are sharp. So if I'm knitting, I might catch it on even the chair, if I'm sitting on like a sofa or something, and you catch it on the fabric of the chair, or your clothes that you're wearing, and you might end up, snagging it. So I have found if you run to Home Depot or one of the home improvement stores, you can buy these shelf caps, they call them. It's in the like the do-it-yourself shelves, the white shelves, the white wire shelves. And so I just bought some of those and stuck them on the end of my bolts, and no more snags. So there you go. There are 6 tips for you, and I hope you get your Loom Knit Toolkit set up and have a great time looming.